So, hey, we might as well have some sound to go with this. Yeah, this is how I do things. We are all set. Okay, so in case anybody was watching and you happen to see all of that lovely camera resizing stuff going on, great. Glad you could join us for it. And if not, we will have a similar level of quality for the remainder of the stream. I am joined today, luckily, by Knitnack and by Zan, covered in sawdust. So, do you guys have anything you want to talk about? You guys have any projects you want to mention or anything like that?
I don't think so right now.
Okay. Some days you got some stuff you got to talk about, and some days it's normal stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing some Numenera Untold Legacy. We talked about this a little bit while we were setting up. We're going to do today's session, and then in 2 more weeks on the Sunday, we'll do more and more session like this. I do want to know why it is on Twitch I have to watch an ad to watch my own channel. But what are you going to do?
That's capitalism for you.
I know. I mean, I guess I am using their service. I shouldn't complain too much, but I am complaining.
But then you're contributing to the service as well.
That's right.
It's not like you're just consuming.
That's right. So, yeah, I'm allowed to complain, I think.
Yeah.
So we've got all this set up, and we were talking about where we are game-wise. So last time, the settlement that is at the bottom of this crater, which we've learned is named Arca, we visited it, we found out a little bit about the central bureaucracy, the capital, and then when that happened, we managed to unstick the time freeze to some degree so that we found out there's a giant comet that is about to land on top of this building. And all of the mist has kind of dissipated. We found out that's all actually the detritus that's been kicked up as the city is being disintegrated. So there's a lot of people in there. There's some, building matter and so forth. But everything has just been disintegrated and thrown out into the ether. And that's what we've been seeing as mist. So with all of those things in mind, we did have some time pass since last time, because that's how we've been generally doing this. Do you guys have particular focuses you think that your characters would have been working on in this last week? Month?
So, am I correct that the comet has not yet hit, or it has hit?
That's correct. So the comet is in a perpetual stasis just above the city. So it has not hit, because that will be the end game if it hits.
Got it. So part of the... Hold on, let me find what I'm looking for. Part of the advancement that I took was a couple of more plans. And one of them I was able to pick up was an improved turret.
Nice.
So I'm gonna spend some time working on that, at least for defense, if nothing else.
That sounds like a really good choice. Cool. Okay, so let's go into our crafting rules. What do we think about this? We might as well talk about it now and get this worked out. So we're going to craft a plan, which is definitely a downtime. I don't know if you've already got the page up and everything like that, but I'm going to get my page up for sure.
I'm pulling it up now.
Cool.
And that is an installation.
Okay.
I believe. And the improved turret is a level... A level I can't find it, apparently. Hold on. That's not what I'm looking for. No. Okay, I'm just gonna search it.
Mm-hmm.
Improved. Okay, turret basic. Turret gravity. Turret improved, level 4.
Okay. So we've got the basic difficulty of crafting something being at level 4 here. And then let's talk about if we're going to do anything to make it more awesome. What can we do here? So you're right. Do you get any special additional levels right away?
Let me see. I don't believe so. No, that my community builder is passive, so that's not a thing. And no, it doesn't look like I get anything immediately. It's possible that I could have taken a inspired technique for that, but I did not take one of those.
Okay. Well, so you've got, you can definitely get it finished in the time period that we have. That's no problem at all. And so it's only a level 4. It doesn't sound like we have any sort of crafting complications to this that we're adding in.
I guess the only other thing would be that making sure I have the materials.
Yeah, I'm going to say, considering the fact that we've gone this entire game without anything else getting crafted, you've got to have the materials by this point.
Okay.
Because that's pretty much all Knit has done is, you know, Paragon 9 has just been out there in the iotum mines getting iotum for you.
Ye old iotum mines.
That's right.
Hi-ho, hi-ho.
So with that in mind, I guess we're just going for a simple crafting roll, right?
Awesome. So I will absolutely spend a level of effort on that.
Sure.
And difficulty of 4. So when I brought my effort up to 2. So that means I can spend 2 levels of effort, correct?
That's right. And so the total cost is 5 minus edge.
Oh, okay. Cool. So that'll be an edge of 1. So 2 effort. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Sweet.
Because you're trained in crafting, yeah, and you brought the level down by 2. That was perfect. You made it go with that level, that roll of just a 4 on a die. That worked out perfectly.
Nice.
So, good stuff. I would say it's one of those things where, do you think it's like Tenlau is managing multiple projects at the same time, or where would you say you are? If you're like, you're just skating by, why is that?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot on their mind. We have all this information concerning the city in the crater now, and making sure that we're understanding what's going on there. We have making sure that all the stuff that we have is up to snuff with what we need it to do. Constantly, what's the word I'm looking for? Competing with Hoshen for all the various different things that could be created and trying to get to it first. So there's just a lot on their mind. So it's they get it done, but like it's just only there.
That's fair. Yeah, so lots of distractions. On the map, if you want to drop a pin, or if you want to even put the physical structure where you want to put this turret,
sure,
you can definitely do that. And that's just 4 days. So if for some reason you want to throw some more crafting in there, great. But if not, that's okay. I'm going to ask Paragon's downtime type actions, and then we'll keep going.
I mean, we've already said and guessed, like, he's just going to salvage more. Like, that's what he's good at. That's what's the best thing he can do is, like, that's what's
Sure.
the best thing he can contribute to the community.
I mean, you're keeping the place running really smoothly with that, and effectively we'll just say any crafting that we need to get done, we're going to have stuff for.
Yep.
Because we had plenty of tech to dismantle in the first place. So, with that in mind, Zan, do you think that for a Tenlau there's any other crafting you'd try to do, or do you think that's good?
Look at what else I lost the thing. I had the wrong page. So many pages.
I know.
There is, after seeing Paragon 9 kind of go down last time, I have a plan for a rejuvenator cipher.
Oh, yeah.
I need to find what that is. There it is. And it basically allows by roll, substance restores a number of points equal to the cipher's level to one random pool.
Yep.
So that is a... Oh gosh, now I need to find... Oh, so many.
Did Paragon actually go down? I thought he just got, like, sucked in and teleported.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
that was just the way that I'm interpreting
Okay, yeah.
the... Oh shoot, we're not...
Yeah,
you
not
know.
to, like, negate your thing, but, like, I'm just, like, I'm trying to remember. Did
No,
Paragon
no,
actually go down?
you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
I remember thinking Paragon was dead, and then, like,
Right.
apparently he went to a bathroom. That's...
Right. Yeah, we had a nice teleporting motion there. That was good.
bathroom with no bath.
Yeah.
A restroom where you don't actually rest.
Yes.
Inefficient for sure.
Yes. Poorly named.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Rejuvenator. Oh, it's a level 1. Okay.
Okay, now is that like how low it has to be, or is it that's like a rolled roll? How does that go?
That's the minimum crafting level. So
Okay.
I can make it a higher level 1. So I'm gonna see if I can make it a level 3.
Okay. Yeah, you can totally do that.
We'll do. I'll do one of those. Okay. Cool.
Nice. Good stuff. How does that affect your cipher limit? Do you have plenty of space for ciphers?
I believe I have a spot for that.
Cool.
Oh no, wait. Here's a question. The grafted ones still apply towards my cipher limit, correct?
I don't know, and that's something we definitely have to check out in the graph section of the book. That's a great question.
Okay. I'll see if I can look that up in a moment here.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now too, and I'm pretty close to having it, so we'll see.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, augments flesh with grafts. If you graft, does it count?
It doesn't?
I'm checking, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it does count towards your
Okay.
limit.
Cool. So I am at my limit currently. I have the crafter's eyes and the telepathy implant and then an instant item. So this is definitely something I would probably... Let's see. So I will use the instant item on the rejuvenator.
Oh, to hold it. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will get that taken care of once I get the description of that.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
I got to figure out where the turret went.
That's right. Yeah, all the work is on you this game.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it near the edge of the crater, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and label that, and if you would put a level, that would be super helpful.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So
Gotta keep us safe from that mist. Those mist squids.
Yeah.
that's right. So there is a lot of stuff that's happened since last session. Specifically, how people are reacting to the idea that something is happening. Number one, all of the Lattimore are gone.
Oh.
The Lattimore have abandoned you. The Lattimore village is actually gone too. They have all moved to the north. And
Did they just pick up their mushrooms and leave?
so here's a really cool thing you found out. Their buildings are almost like ablative, and when they decided to dissolve them, they basically just kind of like composted their buildings and walked off.
Whoa.
So they have no buildings here anymore. So I'm going to be removing all the Lattimore from the map. So that's fun. The splendid form have not taken well to losing all of their indentured servants, but...
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that the Broken Arrow is much happier because they don't maintain that perimeter across the bridge in fear of Lattimore anymore. They maintain it just for fun.
Just for fun. That's so perfect.
I mean, they might say for duty, but everybody's got their different interpretations of what's going on, right? So there's one thing. Number two, I need to have a scene with Ten Lao. Maybe this is part of why you're having so much fun crafting this turret, because as you're like trying to tighten the installation down and install this base and so forth, Hoshin comes all the way out of his splendid form quarters, leaving all of his tools behind. He's, as a person who just walks around, he looks surprisingly naked because his crafter's lenses aren't on. He's not wearing his like long crafting apparatus. He doesn't have all the pockets or the articulated arms. So he's just walking along towards you. And you notice he's a very old man. And he has the build of Ebenezer Scrooge or someone else who's like Mr. Burns. He is small and emaciated. And
Sure.
when he walks up, you know who I'm really think about as playing Ho Shen in the movie adaptation of this is the guy, the very prolific Chinese actor who is in Big Trouble in Little China, and he plays the bad guy. I wish I could remember his
Yes.
name right now. He's the best guy ever.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name either.
Well, somebody can IMDb that because my computer is it's running plenty of things right now. But long story short, he is the guy. And as he walks
Perfect.
up over to you, wispy white hair, kind of just like blowing in the breeze. But you can see he's got that indentation on the top where people wear a hat and then it's just stuck. But
James Hong.
what's that?
James Hong.
Yes, James Hong, the best actor ever.
Nice.
As he walks up to you and he's talking about this, he says, "All right, Tin Lao." He points out at the horizon where all of this mist and the comet and everything just is. You've really stirred up a hornet's nest.
Not just me personally, but the group of us being here, yes.
Yes, it's fascinating. Good job.
I would agree. Thank you.
No, I mean, if we're here to uncover a mystery and discover things, that's more than an average discovery.
Yes, the time bubble was. I'm glad that we have figured out exactly what was going on there and what all this mist was. I'm curious to know what this comet will do.
Yes. Well, if you need any help running tests, doing things, this turret, things like this, let me know because clearly we're going to have to deal with that.
I will absolutely let you know. Is your group not assisting you currently?
What? No, they're helpful. They're fine. They're fine. They're, yes? It's always this cold outside?
Occasionally. No, I was just curious. You always seem to have your own projects. Are they taking care of them for you?
No, this is just, it's interesting. There's something interesting going on.
Completely understandable. I agree, and I will absolutely let you know if there is anything you can be of assistance for.
Fine, yes, that would be good. Yes, I'd be interested in doing that. It's, All right, well...
If you would like to help me on this turret now, you are more than welcome to.
It's very unpleasant out here. I don't understand how people live without thermal regulation.
You just have to thicken your blood.
All right, well, maybe I'll work on that. But for right now, I'm going to let you handle this. But let me know if there's any projects, anything where you need help assessing this situation.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Yes. And Ho Shen, well, does his scuttling little walk back to the splendid form.
Awesome. Well, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious how Tin Lao thickens her blood.
That was one of those situations of, this is small talk, yes.
Yeah.
If it were any other character, I would think that was just like a turn of phrase. But for the body
No,
modder,
no,
that's
No,
that's probably like a literal.
I literally
For real.
mean, no, you just have to it'll hold more heat if it's thicker. It runs slower, keeps you warmer. That's how it works.
It was a very good interaction, though. Have you ever seen a conference of scientists when they're meeting and they're in that that period between like lectures and so forth? That's what it's like.
Yes, and they're just like they have no idea what to say and no idea how to proceed, and they just kind of stand around awkwardly talking at each other.
Yeah. Real life right there. All right, so let's talk about Paragon 9, and let's do a flash during this period of downtime. So, Paragon 9, you have been breaking tech for weeks. I mean, this is literally all you do. It's very efficient. It's super great that you're doing it. One thing that has kind of come in as a background process for you that you're probably aware of, there are fewer and fewer of the silent chorus every day. Any day you look for people, there are fewer of them. At one point, you knew there were at least 40. On a good day now, you see 5.
Wow.
5. Wow, including I'm sorry, I forget their name. The leader,
Kylabri.
shirtless man,
You,
or shirtless person.
you have not
Kylabri.
seen Kylabri, the shirtless leader of the silent chorus, in quite some time. They really don't leave their quarters for whatever reason. So the thing that you know right now is there are fewer and fewer people walking around doing errands, contributing to the community. They seem to be just not present.
Okay, just I see fear walking around, just not like if I go into the silent chorus facility, do I see these people?
That's a good question. So if you go and do that, no. So there are
Okay.
multiple empty bunks where there are no sheets on them, no pillows, nothing like that. They are just stripped. And the bunks themselves, like the beds, have been taken up. So they are just like a flat metal slab. And it looks like, if you had to guess, there are probably beds for 5 people in this room now. And by looks like, if you had to guess, I mean counting to 5. So yes.
That wow. Okay, that's I mean, that's very Paragon to only just notice when there's 35 people missing. Like, oh, no, yeah. Now I'm gonna like pay attention to this.
I feel like after 2 months, you probably don't have to make a roll for it anymore. But yeah, you're thinking, there seem to be fewer and fewer people as time goes by.
I will go to the office of Hoshed or to Kylabri and see if they are present.
They are. You walk in there and
Okay.
they have those long draperies that are like black that goes to red. And they've got that long couch that they're laying down on, reclining as you come in. And they see you enter and they say, Paragon 9.
Master Kylabri, I have noticed that there are deficient members of the Silent Chorus.
Deficient.
Yes. Whereas we started with a sufficient number, we are now lesser.
You feel like we need more people to accomplish what task?
For the general maintaining of the community, I was curious if they had been sent to other duties, or if they have been simply taken by the mist, or taken by the time anomalies, or if there's anything that we should be concerned over. Concerned.
I find that with the number of Broken Arrow citizens in the area, most tasks get accomplished easily.
I suppose I should be more direct. Where have the other 35 members of the Silent Chorus gone?
Hey, Bonnie's here. Hey, Bonnie. Sorry, I'm not totally ignoring you for 2 seconds for plot reasons. That would be terrible. Who would
No
do
worries.
that? Anyways. Kylabri looks at you. Eyes focused, although still in a very reclining posture, their eyes are very much on your eyes, and says, Paragon
Very Jeff
9.
Goldblum.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Jeff Goldblum moment. Paragon 9, do you remember what we spoke of when you first came to me? There is no reason for you to look at notes.
Okay.
We skipped this session. I love it, thank you. But we actually totally skipped this for this exact reason, so...
Okay. Paragon will be straight. No, I do not recall.
Then it's not time yet. And they straighten up on the couch. You'll know when it's time, Paragon 9.
Fair enough. And Paragon excuses itself and walks away.
Kudos to Nit for being the best player for this particular role. It's just wonderful. Love it. Thank you.
So accepting.
Yep.
No, like
Okay.
the most efficient thing is to like let the people who know things like decide, and like if you question it, like you just cause problems. Like no.
I totally get it. It's perfectly on track for Paragon.
The player is very unnerved. The character is like, whatever, that's fine.
Yep.
I'll just go back to breaking stuff.
Yep, it's good. Well, that's why we're getting to our finale here. We have to have everything come together and be terrible. It's great.
35 people. 35 people.
It's only
Oh my
35
God.
people. There's only 35 people missing. It's not that bad. Out of
In
40.
like a community of like 100.
Yeah, right.
That
I would say your math is very accurate at this point. That's 35 out of 100 people missing.
and like they were all the ones I liked.
Yeah, that's really fair. That's definitely a thing. So let's get into session play, as we have a scene of the two of you together, Paragon 9 and Tenlau. My theory for where we would start out is that this is Tenlau explaining to Paragon 9 how to fire the turret, or to how to make sure the turret is maintained.
Sure.
Okay. So you're there, you're doing that. How's that going?
Give me just a second to find the thing. Okay, there we go. So if you are able, so this is better than just a normal turret. You can like focus it more directly as to where you want to go, but you need to take time to calibrate it.
And do I just reaching like, and I assume this knob is the calibration, and like this meter needs to be within these parameters, and
Yes, and if you continue on with it there, you should be able to easily make sure that it is going to fire where you want it to be, and it also works faster. It only takes a short amount of time to be able to fire on the one target, and it will stay on that target until you tell it to do otherwise.
ooh, automated, very, very, very good. And what range is this defensive measure effective?
That is a good question.
Oh,
Give me a moment.
A long range, some variety of range. It works well.
Okay.
So like, if the party were back down in the crater, like, could somebody man it and like just snipe?
Oh yeah, totally. Somebody took the time to make a
Okay.
turret. Why not, right?
Sweet.
Let me just read you the specification of the turret real fast, so you understand that. It is a basic turret, but turrets can be designated by the user on an installation's control surface at any time. Once the improved turret is activated as the character's action, the turret continues to attack that selected target on its own for up to 1 minute, or until a target is eliminated.
Nice.
If a battery of 5 or more of these turrets, that's if we have more turrets. But we do not have more turrets. And it does, it charges metallic slug with a loud bang, up to a long range that the character can see. It's treated as a level 4 attack and inflicts 5 points of damage.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, so good job having a turret that you now understand. And as you're finishing this explanation, flanked by 2 of his men, up comes Verathon of the Broken Arrow. He is walking in a very lively military step as they all march. You notice the other 2 are going in perfect time with his step. And they are all heavily armed. They're all wearing long rifles, and they all have what's the thing I'm thinking of? Like a kukri knife, like down the leg of their pants. So they've all got very long, like machete-type knives. So they look serious. They're coming up this way. And they stop in front of you. The other 2 stop in time. Verathon looks at Tenlau and says, Tenlau, this turret, is it ready for deployment?
It absolutely is.
Excellent. Fire on the comet. How are we going to find out if it's effective?
Oh, right. The comet is stuck in time. If you interact with any of the things that are stuck in time, they come out of stuck in time, and it will impact on that city, possibly eliminating it and affecting us at the same time.
Are you sure that's how it works?
Yes, every time we have interacted with something that has been frozen, it has immediately come out of its frozen state as soon as we have touched it or interacted with it extensively.
All right, Verathon puts his hand up like this over his shoulder, and one of the men, the one on his right, puts a set of like rangefinders in his hand. He holds it up to his eyes, looks out at the city of Arca, and says, all right, there's a building down there. He's pointing down to, I'm going to ping it. This is the building way back where you guys found the sanitation and like the cleaning station. So that was like city garbage. Anyways, he's looking at it and says, all right, that installation right there, fire on it.
Why are we going to destroy part of a city that could be useful to us in the long run? There's no reason to destroy an already permanent structure.
You say this turret works. Have you tested it?
Why don't I not just fire on one of the stones over there?
He finds the rangefinders again. Okay, this time he's pointing his finger at the tetrahydra nest you all found previously. Says, all right, there's some live combatants. Let's see you take a fire test on them.
We taking out the wombats in our T16 here?
Very well, this I can do. I don't think I had any love for the tetrahydras. if I
Either the
remember.
Paragon and
I think it was just Jackie that was like,
Yeah,
good, friends.
Jackie's not around.
You're going to break Jackie's heart. Poor tetrahydra is being blown to pieces.
All right, yeah, no, I'll fire on the tetrahydras.
Okay. It is a turret. They are level 3 creatures, and this is a level 4 turret. So, system-wise, they're obliterated. Do you want to describe any details of how this goes, like how Tenlau is finding this target?
So there's like a scope with a little screen on it, so we can just like figure out exactly where it is, spend a little time calibrating for distance and wind resistance and all that kind of stuff, and then firing on it, and this large projectile fires out with a incredibly loud bang as it heads towards it and hits right on target. The nest kind of explodes into a cloud of dust and tetrahydra guts.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a big yuck as the nest is just gone. The side of the cliff is gone, the water sprays everywhere, and you get that mist raining down to the valley. And after having watched this whole thing, Varathon says, it's acceptable. Bringing some rangefinders down.
I'm glad you find it to your liking. I make very good things.
Yes. All right, so how long before you'll have the next turret up?
As soon as I find the materials.
He points at Paragon 9. That's up to you, isn't it?
Yes, of course. That's my first priority.
He walks his finger down the edge of the cliff like this. He's totally not listening to any of the words you're actually saying. I'm sorry to cut you off, but in-game, I am definitely cutting you off.
Yeah.
And he just points his finger along the ridge and says, I want 5 turrets in a sequence right here. Didn't you say there's some sort of cool 5-turret benefit?
Yeah, so with 5 turrets, what you get is, with a battery of 5 or more of these turrets installed, you modify the community's damage by 1.
Yep.
So any damage that the community does to any sort of incoming attack will be +1, in addition to any damage they do individually.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that's what Varathon wants. So, having pointed at this line and where you should be building turrets along the edge of the chasm, he says, all right, build these turrets, get Ho Shen building these turrets. I expect it all done end of the week.
That might be a little hard. It will take a little bit longer than that to make it happen, especially with the smaller amounts of people we seem to have here. Fewer Latimore, fewer Silent Chorus.
Well, if you need more people, tell some of the other people to help out. Let's get this done.
I will do my best, but I make no promises about deadlines.
I'll check in a week.
Paragon is all for, drafting volunteers.
Voluntold.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of that going on around here right now, yes. So, with that, Varathon jauntily marches off, followed by the other 2 members of the Broken Arrow.
Before Varathon goes,
Yes.
just to clarify, the turret needs to be manned for it to work initially, right?
Initially.
Yeah. So.
And then if you wanted to change targets, it will have to be manned as well.
Yeah, I would bring up to Varathon before he leaves. Perhaps he should have assigned one of his men to shifts to man the turret on the regular.
Fine. He points to the man to his left, points him back to the turret. The guy goes stand by the turret. He's poking buttons at the control console. Yeah, and you see the turret starts moving and
I hustle over and give him a tutorial on how to man the turret.
Within seconds, you find, unfortunately, this man knows exactly how this turret is supposed to operate according to a common control scheme. You may have some improved bells and whistles on this, but the general turret operation, they are very familiar with, apparently.
Awesome.
So, there's that.
And as soon as we walk away, there's a shot right at the comet.
You know what? You probably shouldn't doubt that could happen, so just enjoy that possible intrusion.
Awesome.
I mean, what good is a turret if it's unmanned? Like, that's too.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So,
It's the risk we gotta take.
yeah, some additional things to think about that you've got going on here. You still have Liana, who's a lady who is from Arca, and she has been basically hanging back at City Hall. The good news is with the interactions with Garamendes and Jackie, the truth, her common language is coming along quite well. So she can communicate with you all pretty easily, but somewhat stiltedly at this point.
Awesome. And she has that translator that Hoshen made too, right?
Right. So between
Okay.
all of these things, she's really pretty much picked up the language herself.
Awesome.
So if that goes down for some reason, nothing bad will happen.
Cool. After the interaction with Verathon, I'll go talk to Hoshen and let him know that as we continue, we're going to start building some more turrets because safety.
Okay. And he is back in full building mode with like the articulated arms pointing over his shoulders, and he's at that circular workstation, so he's much more in his element. And as you come in, he says, "All right, so turrets. We can build turrets. Those are simple."
Yes, I have some improved elements to the plan. I will make sure that you have them in order to enact exactly the different additions I have made to the basic turret outlay.
Yeah, and he throws up like his Dropbox into the cloud, so we'll go ahead and upload the schematics so that we can get this going.
Wonderful.
And now, as an interesting side twist, one of the members of the Splendid Form, despite wearing a very long, ornate robe with like dripping sleeves, and they've got like a headdress on and so forth, despite all of these ornamentations, you see them slowly pulling a piece of iotum into the room and like very painedly like wrenching it up onto a desk. Ugh. And Hoshin says, "Good, I need 2 more like that." And they go, "All right, fine." They take out the handkerchief and they're like dabbing their brow for sweat. And they go back outside.
It seems that the exodus of the Lattimore have put your followers at it has put them into a line of work they are not used to.
No, I told them that comet's going to kill them all.
That was the wrong time for me to take a sip of tea.
I do apologize for that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That was my fault. I should have known better.
I'm having like a video sync thing, so I get to see you drinking the tea a second after I decide to tell you something like that. But no, this is a very good motivator for everyone involved because we're clearly all in a place of peril.
I would absolutely agree. I'm going to see if I can find any more ideas or plans for something that might also protect us in the case that the comet does come down. Not something nearly as complicated and drastic as this time-frozen situation that the city came up with, but maybe something more like a bubble or a shield. But it'll take me some time.
Here's an important question. Is Paragon 9 in the room?
No, he's outside, like yelling, "Hey, you, soft hands, come on, we gotta go scavenge more iotum."
Well then, enjoy this. Tenlao, you get motioned like this towards Hoshen. He's going like this, and he looks very furtive, which is unusual on his face, but he's looking around.
I come closer.
If something happens, I have a teleporter. But it's only big enough for perhaps 2 people.
Where is the teleporter?
I keep it on my person at all times.
I see.
You have a fine mind. I don't want to see it wasted in an apocalyptic situation like this.
Noted. Thank you for the information. I will keep it in mind should something go down.
It's just big enough for 2.
And Lau just kind of nods, like in the, all right, I understand what you're saying, and backs away to a more reasonable distance like nothing had ever happened.
All right, well, I'll work on these schematics for this turret.
Wonderful. Thank you for your work on this.
Yes, of course. And again, little zapping robot arms, back to work at the console and so forth.
Awesome.
So outside, Paragon 9 is trying to harangue people into work, correct? How is this going for you? Let's make a intellect test to see how you can do this.
I am deficient in social interactions, I believe.
Awesome. So your difficulty is 4 with your inefficiency or inability because these people don't want to do the work.
Let's see. I have an edge, so I will spend an effort.
Okay.
No, I'll spend 2 efforts.
All right. Nice.
Mean about it.
I was originally thinking you were just going to shout at people, but you're actually interested in making this happen. That's great.
That's awesome.
Because, like, comet's gonna kill people.
Right.
And turrets sound cool.
Yeah, and we were at difficulty 3, inability, and then now we've got 2 effort, which costs you 5 minus edge. So great.
Alright. Big money, no whammies. Wait. Inability.
Whammies are good too. I mean, either way.
Big money, no whammies.
Whammies are fun.
Hey, look at
all
that.
right.
You guys are
I
having
think that
good
might
rolls.
be the only success I've had.
I don't know. You may have succeeded in some stuff before this, but we haven't rolled a lot either.
I fail a lot though. Which is kind of great because I'm a masochist anyway.
How are you guys doing on experience points? Do you have some at this point?
Yeah, I've got like 7 in the bank right now.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's how you know you can take an advance whenever you want, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you've got these 3 members of the Silent Chorus. They were standing around playing an elaborate tile stacking game, and they seem to be betting, but you're not really sure because you're not familiar with the currency they're using. It looks like they're trading, like it may have been ciphers. But at this point, now that you see them doing their thing and you've now harangued them, the one who just walked out dabbing their brow from the sweat of their labors now says, "If I have to do this, you have to do this as well. Do what the man says. The robot says. Do what that robot says." And they all put their betting chips away and hastily, like mopily, walk off after this individual.
And like Paragon just walks behind them, like the watchman behind the chain gang.
Yes. Yeah, they're all dragging these long brocaded robes and like very slowly moving down the street. Yep. They go to the pile of item that you've assembled and they start dragging these pieces. They're not strong enough to carry them. They have to drag them across the yard.
Oh.
It's very good and very sad.
Forced labor. Yes.
So,
I also very much imagine them like dragging this along and Paragon just lifting one over each shoulder
Yeah.
and like just
yeah. That's very possible at this point. So pieces are being moved. The let's say the material components of the turret are being assembled. We know what to expect. The materials. So what do we want to do next?
I'd like to maybe talk to Liana. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Liana. Okay. Talk to her a little bit more and figure out exactly if there's... Because she was talking about, like, saving the city, and it also doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of other people in the city. So I kind of want to see what her thought on what the situation is.
Okay. So she has been resting in the city hall, just kind of waiting and adding input where she's useful. So you go to see her, and she's now wearing one of these robes like the Splendid Form tend to wear. So she's got some new clothes, and that's cool. It's been shortened quite a bit so that it doesn't drag on the ground, because that's very much their style and not hers. So she's got like elbow-length sleeves, just below the knee-length robe. And she's happy to see you, because nobody's been to see her in a little while. Tenlao, Paragon, how are you?
I am doing well.
Better than we previously met in the... We were together in the crater, yes.
Yeah, I remember that. How can I help? I don't really have a lot to do.
Well, I was hoping to talk to you a little bit about your city.
Okay.
We had talked about you wanting to be able to save it. We also realized that there aren't... You seem to, at this point, somehow be the only survivor that we have found of whatever this sequence of time stopping was. Would you like to go and see if we can find out what happened to the people in your settlement, or are we not at all concerned about where or how they may be?
No, I mean, that time field that is protecting the capital, I imagine there could be people still alive in the capital. Maybe they have access to stronger. How did they describe it? There's some sort of field that happened because of the device that was in that government office. So if there were more devices like that, maybe people would still be alive inside.
Then perhaps we should go see if there are more. I don't. There is always the possibility that this comet will unfreeze. We are not doing anything to it to cause it to do so, but things have happened of their own accord before, and I worry that we might end up with a catastrophic situation regardless of any of our efforts if we do not get more information.
I mean, if you want to go back, I'm happy to go back. I would like to see if there's anyone else we can save.
We are also currently working on some technology to help try and protect us from different things. We are working on a number of turrets that maybe we would be able to smash it apart before it hits. I don't know how realistic that is, though.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, it is all speculation at this point, unfortunately.
So, what can we do? Should we go now? Should I get something? Do you need anything?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm cool with going now and looking for more survivors.
Okay.
Yeah. Paragon 9's going to ask, the thing that we ran into the last time we were there, that contraption, that sentinel of sorts, is that something from your civilization, or is that something you're familiar with?
I've never seen anything like that before. I think that whatever is happening, that's part of it.
Well, it seemed to almost materialize out of the misty debris.
Yeah, that seemed like what I saw too.
Question for GM. We took it. I believe we looked at it and took that thing apart afterwards. Were there organic parts or was it all mechanical? Could we tell?
As I recall, that thing was entirely mechanical when you saw it. I think all the organic stuff we found has been dust that's been kicked up from things being atomized.
Okay.
So...
And in the general world setting, are mechanical beings just sort of able to come about on their own, or are they always a constructed thing?
Well, you've got 1 billion years of history to deal with, so there have been several mechanical beings of one kind or another, and there's definitely true AI and various other kinds of creature. So you've got all sorts of choices.
And I'm also pretty sure that somewhere there's a city that is only intelligent machines.
I'm sure that's possible, right? How could that not be a thing?
Or we could just make this that thing.
Well, I mean, you have to get rid of 35 fewer people now, so that works.
Exactly. Yeah.
I really would like to know where they went.
Yeah.
I would too. That's super weird and great and weird and just scary.
That's what I'm going for. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what's up next?
35 people.
35 people.
All right, yeah, I say going back down farther into the capital area, seeing what we can find. And if not something there, then I guess we'll figure out the next step. But the city in the crater seems to be the only source of true information on the scenario that we have. So going back down sounds like a plan.
We could take the canopy straight to the government building, just sort of skip all the possible random encounters with more of those things.
You're totally right.
So at this point, I think that Ten Lao has by Jackie's asking, has christened the transport so that it is called the canopy, and so written the name on the side and broken a bottle of something on the side of it.
Sure, that works for me. So if you want to take the canopy, you can definitely do that. And the city center, like I'm just cutting to us being in the dropship with Liana at this point. The
Sure,
one thing that
that's fine.
Liana has outfitted herself with is she has a first aid kit. She was a trained medical responder, and she has no idea what to do with you robot grafted people, but at least in terms of flesh stuff, she can handle that.
I am still mostly organic.
Well, and then she points at Paragon 9.
He is not.
I like lift up the hoodie and like show her the weird shirt I have that shows the inside. Like these parts.
Oh, I'm sorry. It
doable.
has some organs.
Okay, well, the good news is that makes me a lot more confident about trying to do something. Yeah, I can definitely help if there's anything that happens medically. I do have... I mean, I'm trained. I was going to say I have my current certification, but that's really not true.
Well, as current as it could be, considering you just came out of a couple, however many years of sleep. Tries to do... I don't remember how long. We figured it out.
It's been a long time, but I mean, I can do something if that happens, so yeah.
Good.
Okay, so
Do you have a weapon in case we encounter something?
I don't even know what I would do against something like that.
Could we go to the Broken Arrow and get one of their rifles, their slug throwers or whatever they had?
Oh yeah. So you go, you just kind of like make a mild inquiry, like, do you have any rifles laying around? And they immediately just hand you a rifle. They cock it, load it, throw a clip in there, hand it over to you. You need to see that again?
Nope, got it.
And then they hand you
Memory
a
banks.
belt of ammunition to go with it.
I'm assuming this is a heavy weapon.
That's a good question. Is it a heavy weapon or is it a medium weapon? What are you able to handle, Paragon?
Me? Ooh, that's a good question. Did I write that down? Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Definitely medium, because spears are medium.
Yeah.
I don't believe I could do heavy. Like, I don't have it written heavy
Right.
anywhere, so I'm going to assume I don't. I can't.
Okay, yeah, because most character types can't handle heavy weapons, so that's a good point that Zan made. So let's see. What have we got here? Real quick, taking a look through the delve stuff.
Well, it wasn't intended for Liana, but, like, I'll take it too. Like, whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'll
you do have an inability with heavy weapons, like most characters.
Gotcha.
So with that, they take the very heavy machine gun that they were about to hand you, look at it, look at you, put that down, hand you a different one, which is a medium-sized rifle, and yes, now you have that and all of the ammunition and so forth.
Gotcha. Sweet.
All right. Anybody else wish to be outfitted by the Broken Arrow? Are you asking for 2 or anything like that?
Yeah, I would ask for at least another one, like maybe like a pistol or a small rifle or like a medium rifle for Liana.
They
To
just
give her something so that like give her she's at a distance at least.
Yeah, they just get you a sidearm and like load it up and hand it to you and hand you another box of ammunition. So you're pretty well loaded up at that point.
Yeah. And I'll return to the canopy looking like the fucking Terminator.
Yep.
Just
Yep. This is now no longer the scene where you walk around just like a bare metal skeleton. Now you've got the scene where you've just become totally loaded down. It's great.
Good.
and do the same thing that the Broken Arrow soldier did to me, like show Liana how to like strip it and load it and like make sure trigger discipline, all of that stuff.
I have never fired a weapon before.
Hopefully you will not have to.
And like Paragon doesn't even ask like if she understood that. He just does it and assumes that she had taken that and like, oh, you'd then as soon as she like sort of says like seems confused, he'll just do it again the same exact way, assuming that doing it again is good enough.
On the second time, she puts it into the like thigh pocket of her robe she's wearing, and there's that.
Well, I'm sure if worst comes to worst, you will be able to find a way to defend yourself or...
Yeah, that's a thing. So you've now armed her, so good. And you've armed yourself.
Just waiting to get shot in the back by accident.
What's up next? Are we
Flying on
ready
down,
to go
straight
on
to the
down?
government building.
Okay. So we're going to get about to where it says center before stuff starts to get hairy, but there is going to be temporal turbulence. So as we're going through this, first off, Paragon, have you added any skills for piloting this dropship?
I have not yet.
Now, you did say you have 7 experience points. Are you interested in doing that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's see.
So you could take one of your advances, which will get you closer to the next tier, and then additionally, you spend that 4 experience points and you have a skill, which could be piloting. I don't think we're going to pilot enough stuff that we need it to be very fine, like in terms of what is what. So you could just say piloting.
Yeah, piloting the canopy.
There you go. So temporal turbulence in this case, it's not usually very difficult to maneuver this ship. It does have a lot of additional features. So we're going to say you have an asset based on the fact that this is an easily manned craft. However, the difficulty right now is 5 because there is a lot of temporal turbulence.
Gotcha. And we are all wearing suits because we had 3 left that were undamaged last time, I believe.
That sounds really good. And the difficulty we are trying to meet here is... Oh, no, I said that already. But we're going to be using speed as the attribute.
Gotcha.
The pool.
My speed's not that bad.
Yeah.
So, taking the piloting skill, I am up to trained, I believe. I went from untrained to trained.
That's right.
I wasn't... we'll spend 1 effort.
Cool.
Big money. Yes.
Looking really good. Really good.
No crash landing this time.
No crash landing at all. And additionally, just going through this, you know, you feel more comfortable handling the craft after all this time. There is a lot of like bucking and jolting of the craft. As you start to reach the city center, you realize the problem is not turbulence per se. There are actually like waves or like pulses or lashes of energy that are crashing down on this dropship in particular. So it's not generally turbulent, it is directed turbulence. Something is trying to attack your ship.
Oh, okay.
So as you reach the city center, I'm imagining a lot of like white marble domes. I'm kind of going like a Star Wars capital / like DC thing as we go into this. So lots of like fluted columns and so forth coming down, long open window areas, and you're landing the craft. There's a moment where you feel like there's some pressure against the ship and it just kind of like pops. And as you come in, the air feels very warm and humid, like you're visiting like Georgia or Asia or something like that, where it's just like, it's hot. Like you feel like you're going to be sweating. But at the same time too, it feels not fresh. The air does not seem like it is, nice and fresh air that has been blowing in a breeze for a time. It feels stale and not old. Like it doesn't feel old in your mouth, but it does have an aged air to it. Like there's a lot of carbon in the air, a lot of carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So the craft comes down very smoothly, and Leona says, okay, I went here like one time on a school trip when I was like 10. I have not been here. I don't really know the layout, but there should be a directory. And she points at like a big white plinth in the distance. That should be just like a directory sign that'll show us where we need to go.
All right, well, let's take a look at that and see if we can't figure out where it is we are getting to.
Yeah. Let's see. Others.
So...
Okay, that's one to play. Gotcha.
So Leona points it out. She goes over there, and this display, again, it's just a white circular or a cylindrical plinth. And when she gets up close, she waves her hand like that, and a big blue informational display comes up, and it is all in a weird foreign language that you can't understand. And she says, okay, so this is like the outside edge of city center. If we were going towards the government offices, we go straight this way. And she's pointing at one of the like circles on the map. She says, that way is going to be the Department of Defense. That might be where we want to go. But we might have to go to central government offices instead. I don't know which one is the right thing for something like this. Man, I really wish I was paying more attention to the news when this happened.
She points out the Department of Defense, and then what was the other one?
Central government offices.
Central.
I can drop these in chat too. So.
find the way wouldn't help me here, I don't think.
I don't know. How does it work?
When you apply effort to a navigation task because you don't know the way, are lost, or attempting to blaze a new routes, need to choose between two or more otherwise similar paths to take, or something very similar, you could apply a free level of effort.
I am all about letting you apply your skills that you have to doing things, and right now, I mean, again, you know all about efficiency. So what does Paragon 9's gut say? How are we going to go through this? We're going to make a task that's like a level 2 task, and you want to apply a free level of effort, so now it's become a level 1. And then are you trained in anything else that helps you figure this out?
Trained in... Perception seems like a long shot, just like seeing different routes and things, but like that's kind of...
Yeah, let's save that one for later. And I feel like we've just self-identified Liana as not being an asset to this task because she doesn't know where she's going. So you've got to make a level 1 intellect task.
Level 1 intellect test, and I can use an effort for free.
Yeah, right. So it was level 2, and now you've got to make it level 1, right?
Sorry, what was the difficulty on that again?
So let's say difficulty 2, but you've got that free level of effort, so however you want to apply that as an asset or whatever makes sense on the rolling.
Okay. And I guess I'm technically not trained in this, somehow.
Yeah, just untrained, right?
Intellect.
Good stuff.
There we go.
Yeah, see, that should have been easy. So it worked out perfect. So looking around, you're thinking about it. If you were going to organize things to be most efficient, where the bells and whistles and the button pushing stuff might be in the Department of Defense, somebody in charge had to push that button to say, turn on the big time shield. So central government offices sounds more like the correct thing to you.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, central government offices seems like the proper way to go. That would be where the main heads of the government, I would assume, would be. That would take charge and organize things beyond the defense efforts.
Wonderful. As we, Paragon's figuring that out. I'd like to use, I have something called Impressive Device. And if I have at least one unit of iodum, I can fashion a temporary device that causes some sort of impressive visual or audio display. It only lasts a minute once I activate it, but what I'd like to do is make a copy of the map that we can pull up in case we get lost.
Totally. Absolutely.
It'll cost me 3 intellect points. And it will be temporary once I activate it, but I'll copy it and then have it with us in case we can't remember where we are, and we can activate it in that moment.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. It sounds super cool.
So I'll spend that. Beautiful.
Yeah, I thought about using my familiarize ability, like basically learn a region like by memorizing this map, but it takes an hour, and a lot of those weird miss squids could show up in an hour, so nah.
Right. Yeah. So for this, it's an action for me to prepare it, and then an action to initiate it. So I use an action to take the map down, and then once we get to actually needing to use it, it'll take me an action to make it happen.
Cool. Okay, so everything goes smoothly. You've got the copy of the map. That seems to be working out really well for you. And Liana says, okay, so the map's over this way. And she starts leading the way just because she's having an easier time reading the signs. But she's, again, you're getting a sense she is not great at navigating. She doesn't seem very confident in going between buildings or where things are at. So it's really just she's reading more than she's navigating for you. So you guys are still doing the heavy lifting here. So continuing on as you go through the city center, this place is really built up. It seems very well suited for foot traffic, but there is also like a blue line on the ground, and it has space width where it seems like maybe it's intended to be for a vehicle lane. It's the smallest of all the lanes that you see as people are going around, but there are no people here. So as you're moving along, you haven't seen any additional persons.
If I recall correctly, Liana said last time that like everybody was told to come to like a meeting place in case of emergency, like the firehouses or the sanitation place, and assuming the central government building, are there like FEMA tents around, like for emergency, like the emergency services, like where people would gather? And
None at all.
Like-
And I'm wondering if
Okay.
you're posing this question to Liana or if you're just, coming up with this on your own.
like I would be looking for that, like sort of
Yeah.
like I'm assuming like Paragon's looking for that, and he would ask Liana, like if such things were normal things to be expected, if that's something we should expect to see.
She says, no, that's exactly what they told us to do, but I don't think that central government was designated as one of the places to come in case of emergency. I don't know if that's because they're concerned about there being, like, too many people to be able to operate efficiently, or maybe there's just different spots. When I was doing it, I saw mostly emergency service stations and school facilities. Maybe because they're big and they're used to having high capacities. I don't know.
So perhaps if we do not find anyone here, those should be the next places we inspect.
Sure. Yeah.
If this, yeah.
So you're continuing on. The streets are very straight. Everything's very well laid out. So it's really just a matter of moving and navigating. And a little bit later, you arrive at what seems to be the front of the central government offices. So there are large doors, the kind that part open like this. They're made of like a slightly glazed glass-like material. And Liana leads you into the front. The doors open automatically on their own.
Oh, no kicking.
No kicking at all. And then there's this long semicircular table at the front that is totally unmanned, but there are several information terminals there like you've seen in other places. There are stairs that go up on either side of that front desk, and there is a large set of lifts, elevators in the center.
I do not think that we asked this previously, Leona. What form of government did you have here? Was there a central leader? Was there a council? Is there an office that we can look for where it might have the most information plausible?
Well, there's like a central leader. We had an elected central leader, and then they had a group of other offices, and it was always really confusing because you could vote for some people, but then other people got appointed. So
That is confusing.
it is confusing. It is super confusing, but the important thing is, yeah, it sounds like something you guys can all imagine to this point. So
It's
And
almost
you
like
voted,
that.
but like sometimes your vote doesn't count because the guy in charge
Right.
like votes for you, but
Right, because you're voting for the person who votes,
Yeah.
right?
right.
Yeah,
and
Right.
they don't necessarily have to vote the way you want them to vote.
right. It's all just on good faith.
Yep. So we've got all of that going on for them. So unfortunately, this poor cursed city had to deal with all that as well. So
Well, if we can find some sort of office of a higher up, perhaps we would be able to understand. There might be information there if we can access their information.
you two are both really good with computer systems and data, right? Because I'm wondering if we can actually get access to the president's office.
I think we could probably do that. You'll have to help us with the language, but
Sure.
we can figure out the system.
Yeah, so she walks around this desk and she says, well, there's nobody here, but I mean, and she waves and the terminal comes up. So we can access the system. Let's see if we can get in here. And she's pointing out some things and starts showing you, like, this is where we need to go, but I need an access pass first to be able to open that elevator.
Ooh. Awesome. Access pass. Hold on, let me find what I'm looking for.
Since we left the canopy, like Paragon's got like the rifle out, like he's looking around, like very antsy and like on edge, just worried, and yeah.
So let's
Like
talk
if
about...
anybody else saw them, like he'd look hostile almost.
Yeah, let's talk about what you haven't seen that you've gotten used to seeing in the city. First off, there is no fine dust anywhere.
Oh,
Second off, all these systems have been working. You've seen working lights,
Yeah.
you've seen working pathways. There have been like those persistent like little pings of like a street crossing or things like that. Everything is operating normally, but there are no people.
yeah, that's somehow worse than the mist.
Where did I have it?
Is it one of your cool ride abilities?
Yes. Oh, well, it's from... Yeah, it is. Hold on, let me find what I'm looking for. Where's the right? I need this. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? 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 Where is No, not that.
Was there like a clear delineation between the area with the mist and like all the broken stuff, and then this area where it's no mist and working tech? Okay.
Yeah, that area where you started feeling like the ship was getting attacked, and also where you passed through that very definite barrier, that seems to be the area. The city center seems to be almost the exact shape, if not the exact shape, of the time bubble.
It is.
Flying in the time bubble, could we tell, was it just around the government buildings, or was it like a couple blocks? Was how like, what's the range on that, if we could tell?
So this city center, I'm describing almost like a capital mall, where it's got a very strong delineation between it and the surrounding city. It's even elevated above the level of the rest of the city, but it very much seems to you like you are moving into that area, that capital mall, and that's really where the shield is focused.
Okay.
Okay, so it is called Right Tool for the Job.
Okay.
And that is basically, if I have at least one unit item, I can fashion a temporary device that provides an asset to one physical non-combat task. So I'd like to create a jerry-rigged access card.
Yeah, you can totally do that. So you're spending the item. You've got the... Is there an intellect spend involved?
Yes, there's one intellect point there.
But you've got the edge, so you don't actually spend anything there, so that's great. And then, yeah, this is not going to be a terribly difficult task. It'd be like a level 3 task, so if you have any additional benefits there. Otherwise, you've got the asset, and you've just got to break into the computer system.
Awesome. So that, roll-wise...
Mm-hmm. So intellect task, difficulty 3, 1 asset.
Beautiful.
I know delves have the same thing, like the right tool for the job, but I hope the rights version actually says WRIGHT.
Oh,
it doesn't,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
I really wish it did.
That's a shame.
Sorry,
so
Monica
intellect
Games. You guys failed on that one for us. We need that pun.
Sweet.
Nice. So...
Yes.
These computer systems, despite the language barrier, are just no challenge for you. And we're not talking about breaking into like the Department of Defense computer base. We're really talking about the elevator control panel. So you getting this access card, it was a piece of cake for you. And yeah, you're going to be able to go up to the top floor.
Awesome.
What music does the elevator play?
Oh no.
That's a great question. This being an advanced future
what is
society...
the civilization's version of music?
That's right. You know, this is a good point in general, that I put no music at all in this game, and I'm really just missing opportunities. So, one of these days, I'll get some stuff going. If you guys ever look at the Roll20, there's a thing called Incomplete Tech where Kevin MacLeod has done like 8,000 free tracks for games. I don't know that this is really the time to test them and see which one is good, but that's just an impressive service that person offers.
Dude, the amount of music that he creates on a regular basis is stunning, and I don't know what he does to make money to survive, because it feels like he spends all of his time making free music.
And you know what? If that's what they do, I mean, that's pretty awesome. Maybe there's some sort of like sideline there where that's a really good idea, and I mean, it's cool either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kevin MacLeod. Not an official sponsor of this channel, but on the other hand, very much appreciated. So this elevator it goes fast too. You just go zipping up at a high rate of speed. You've gone up 20 floors according to the indicator, as far as you can tell by the little like things that tick off rather than knowing what the numbers are. And Liana says, so this should be it. And it goes ding, and you have the doors open up. This room is occupied. There are people in here. First off, there's a little bit of a smell. You know how it goes when like there have been people in an area for a while, you get a little bit of people smell no matter what. But the people who are in this office are, pardon me, they're all very clean. Additionally, they are dressed. They're all dressed in things that look kind of analogous to what you're used to. They're wearing like shirts that have a front that just kind of like does an enclosure like this. Maybe it's a Velcro or a magnet. And then they have like a ribbon of office. Sorry. And then they've got just straight flat pants and shoes. There are 3 people in this room. All right, I think I'm good for now. And yeah, one of them seems to be generally female. One of them seems generally male. One of them is a little harder to tell. But additionally, they're all old. They all look like they're roughly in their 70s to 80s, if you had to guess.
Are they frozen?
No, they're not. So additional features in this room, there is, these people are all like kind of casually sitting around. They look old and kind of tired, to be frank. But additionally, there is a large blue pillar of energy that comes up from the floor straight through the center of this room. It looks like an active teleporter in like a Star Trek that just shoots up from the floor to the ceiling and out through the ceiling. There are some data access points and an office desk and so forth. There is a lot of containers for food where they look like they've been like rinsed out and just stuck into a pile because the trash can was not that big, and it is now full to overflowing and some extra space, and it's on the ground, but at least it's all been rinsed out. And you can see some doors that go to auxiliary rooms as well. Yeah, I've hit all of Paragon 9's phobias at once: food and people smell.
Yeah, and, like Paragon 9's got
And
like,
mess.
gun up, and like he did not expect people to be here. He's like, he's not gonna like shout or like say anything. He's gonna let the others take lead, but he's like ready for like danger.
These are older people too. Now Liana sees this and goes, "Oh!" And she's not quite bolting forward, but she looks like she is about to bolt forward. Okay. I'm gonna talk to them. I don't know, you guys aren't good with the language, but I'm gonna do my best. Oh, and she's got that translator, and she pushes the buttons on the translator, so you should be able to tell what's going on here.
Okay.
She walks up and goes, "Hi, how are you doing?" The lady who's sitting in the chair, she's got white hair that's pulled back into a fairly sensible type ponytail, and she has like a broad gold ribbon that she's wearing across her chest. And she says, "Where did you all come from?" Liana says, "I was in the city. I'm one of the citizens. I was near the city edge. And these 2 people come from a totally different place and time." The lady turns and says, "You there, you 2, come over here."
I motion to Paragon to put the weapon down for right now.
Paragon's like scanning the room looking for weapons and like anybody hidden in corners and just like.
There is actually a pistol on the table. It looks fairly analogous to what you're thinking of as being a firearm. It is about, 40 feet away from any of these extremely old people.
Can't trust old people. Old people, like, they'll surprise you.
I mean, that's real life, yes, but...
Yeah.
So I'll step forward and join Liana.
Okay.
Paragon, like, lowers the rifle, but, like, he doesn't, like, put it away.
Yeah.
So,
And he can step up. Yeah.
this older lady is,
Or
like,
it'll
pointing at you now. There is the person who looks like a man is standing to you, their left, they're standing, let's say. Yes, but kind of leaning on the chair. And the person who's to their right is sitting in the chair, frowning, and their arms are crossed over their chest. They don't look like they're necessarily angry at you or anything like that. They look like they have that kind of face. So, the lady says, "How did you come here, and why are you here?"
I apologize if you cannot understand me. I kind of
No,
look
I
to her and
understand
look
you
to
fine.
Liana.
This is fine.
Very well.
Liana's like pointing at... I guess it's working.
Wonderful. By our calculations, we came to the edge of your city, which by our understanding is at the bottom of a crater, though I do not think it was always that way for you. We came here to form a settlement, not knowing that you existed here. We now understand that you have been frozen in time. We are from far into the future from your standpoint. And we have now stepped into the past to talk to you.
Now, have you stepped into the past, or is it just that you've gone through the time barrier? I don't understand how this was supposed to work. The scientists were unclear.
I believe we have just gone through a time barrier because every time we interact with something that was part of your time that was frozen, it seems to quickly catch up with itself and disintegrate.
So,
Paragon like finds something in the room, like
Not
some
people.
innocuous thing, and like gives it a light tap with his foot to see if it also just goes poof or not.
I'm thinking of like the door that Jackie had and a handful of other.
So you basically just kicked over the plastic container for someone's like TV dinner, and nope, nothing happened.
Okay.
It seems to be also inconsistent in its application. It has affected us at some times and seems to have affected you, but maybe not other parts of your city.
The person who's sitting to the left, the one who's definitely male, looks and says, "No, my understanding from what the scientists told us was that we would be immune to any time shifting here because we're so close to the center of the time shield." And he's pointing at that energy conduit that's shooting through the room. We're so close to it at this point, there's effectively no chance that we're going to see any sort of time distortion.
So you were always old.
What? I'm sorry, I'll have you know I've been in this office, this room, for... We don't really keep track of time in terms of days anymore, but according to our calendar, it's been roughly 25 years.
I love how blunt Paragon is. Oh.
Yep.
All right. 25 years is quite a lot of time. So you are closest to the time barrier, the source of its power. It was supposed to affect the entire city, but seems to have faltered along the outer edges. It is keeping you safe by stopping time for everything near you. Is that correct?
He says, that's my understanding, but I see what you're saying is that you think that there's been maybe a diminished effect over time. And that would make sense. The scientists predicted that might happen. I mean, we don't know the strength of this beam over time or how far it can really protect us. That could have happened.
The comet, the projectile, is floating above your city currently. We can clearly see it outside the buildings.
Comet?
Whatever it is that was heading for impact. I assume it was some sort of extraterrestrial object.
The frowning person is now, like, put their hands on the edges of their chair and they're half sitting up so they can kind of adjust themselves forward. It's not a comet. It's very clearly an incursion. It's a weapon. Possibly some sort of transport, but it's not a comet.
I mean, whether or not it's a comet may be true, but it's not a comet. If it was, it would be a meteor, because comets stay in the sky. Meteors come down.
Was that in character?
Yes.
It's a mechanical disassembler, and what it does is it destroys organic matter.
A disassembler.
It destroys organic matter, effectively.
Is there like a whiteboard in this room or something?
If you ask them, they can
Or do I
provide
see
you
like a
something.
pen?
No, there's
Do I
a
see, like,
ton
a
of data terminal type stuff, and it seems like they just kind of like wave surfaces up.
Oh, fuck.
So you can do that.
What? No, I'll take like the TV dinner and like stick a finger in the pudding and start drawing on the wall, drawing the thing that came out of the mist. And like, is it similar to this?
We've seen that as well. That's one of the things that happens when you get a large group of these together. But you have to understand the actual machines, they're microscopic. So it's millions of them when you see that.
Would I or Paragon have any knowledge of nanotech?
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
Okay. So, nanites.
Yes, I think that's what they're calling them.
Nanites. Well, you are not far off, Paragon, with the Iron Wind.
I believe actually Garamedes brought that up. Paragon was just scared.
Oh, he was just scared of it. All right, got it. Never mind.
Yes,
Ignore
well,
me!
it's highly weaponized. It's definitely something that's been pointed at our city, and it's impacting now, I suppose, technically.
Well, regardless, this is a incumbent threat to your way of life, looming above you.
And it's clear that your quality of life has not been phenomenal. It's trapped in here for a quarter century.
Yes, well, it's difficult, but someone has to make sure the machine maintains its power levels and that the city can go back to normal operations if things improve.
So, it's been 25 years of non-operation. What sort of qualifications would you need for life to restart here?
So the lady who's sitting at the back here says, "No, I don't think you understand. What we're saying is that when this threat passes, we want to be able to resume normal city operations and reestablish the government. And the people in this room were chosen as being qualified and understanding the mitigating factors."
So long as you sit here doing nothing, the threat will not pass. It is as you are, waiting.
There are 3 of us, and we personally are not skilled at fighting that.
Well, who is? Maybe they should be more qualified for us to speak with.
You have to understand that this is a threat that when it attacked our city, we were unprepared for. And at the time that it attacked, we had 1 chance of defense, which we've activated. So while we are effectively waiting this out, there is not another option for us.
Where are the rest of your people? You seem to be the only people we've interacted with in your city besides Liana here.
The purpose of the time shield is to keep people protected, and they should be kept in stasis wherever they are. But for us, being so close to this surface, there's been this source, I should say, of energy. There's been no rest.
We have seen no other people so far, unless they are tucked away in rooms. We saw no one in the streets, no one in... We went to a couple of buildings, no one in those buildings specifically. Were there bunkers for them to go?
Well, we didn't build specific buildings. The president turns to the man on her left. He pulls out one of these tablets and swipes out, so you've got a big area map, and then indicates there are like a radius of shelters that are around this main building. They are pretty close to the city center, and says, at least these are our primary shelters. And then things radiated out from there, and they point at Leon and they say, "What were you doing so far out?" And she says, "I was doing medical work. I responded to emergencies. And so I was near the city edge when things happened." Well, most people were concentrated around one of these areas. Most people knew there was an active possibility this shield would be activated. So hopefully the majority of people are still safe within this region.
All right. So,
So who do you have addressing the issue, then? Or are you simply waiting for it to resolve on its own, or for someone else to resolve it for you?
This is...
I understand, like that the time bubble was your only option, but is there being effort on your part here to resolve?
Our efforts here are in maintaining the structure of the time shield and making sure that people are here to receive any messages or communications or things that might happen. But again, this is disaster planning. This was not something that happened over a long time. This happened very quickly.
What is your stance on forming some sort of agreement for us to help with this situation in return for the collaborative building of a settlement for our colony?
So you're suggesting your people would build a colony on the edges of our civilization, and you would help us with dealing with this threat?
Well, not just build, establish trade and some sort of understanding of resources and information and help, back and forth with whatever we can do
The lady at the back
in
says...
response. We
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Because frankly, we've already built a colony, and we didn't need your permission for that.
Wow.
But it is small at the moment.
The lady at the back says, well, I am the president of this city. I am the elected leader. And frankly, I could agree to that.
We do not yet have a central leader. We are working more out of a council situation at the moment. But I think that between the two of us, we would be certified to make such an agreement with you. We would need access to your information in terms of assets and layout and materials that might be available within your city walls, because there's only so much that we are able to provide. But we will do what we can to see if we can't eliminate this threat for you.
As well as any information you have on the threat.
Well, we can give you those sort of readouts. That's not a problem at all. We don't have access to a lot of our resources because we are contained here in the city center. And there aren't, we don't have access to vehicles or things like that.
We have a ship.
Good, good.
What about raw materials?
Yes.
If we find
Go ahead.
If we find things within your city limits that might be useful in creating things that would help with the situation, would it be permissible for us to utilize them?
The president kind of chuckles and says, I'm really not in a position to say no to any of this, am I? If there's something we can do that improves the situation, we really do have to do it.
Very well. We will do what we can to maintain the structure and order and inventory of everything you have here, but if there is something we need, we will make sure that it is put to the use that it is best suited for.
That's perfectly all right. That makes sense.
I do apologize. I don't think we actually exchanged names.
Well, let me drop some text in chat so that we don't have to worry about remembering all this stuff, but here we go. Boop, boop. The lady says, I'm the president of Arca. My name is Averix. This is Chancellor Billis. Billis is our representative of our Science Council. And this is Defense Secretary Koba, who's pointing to the frowning person, who is our, yes, not maybe as apparent in terms of gender, but sitting there kind of awkwardly and frowning at you all, as is per their title.
Sorry, what did she call the country, nation, state, city?
It's Arca.
So it's the same as our settlement?
I don't think so. I think Arca was the name of the government. You guys haven't really named the settlement at any point?
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, I don't think we ever came up with a name. We've just been calling it the settlement or the colony.
And I'm on
I feel
board
like I
with
heard
that.
Arca before, so like maybe I just inserted.
We have used Arca for a couple sessions now, so it's very possible you've heard
Okay.
it and just related it to that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. What do you guys say to like a 5-minute bathroom break, bio break? Sound good to everybody?
That sounds great.
Let's take 5 quick minutes, and then we'll come back and have more fun with all this. I am transitioning to our break screen now, and I'm going to put our sound off. sound back. We're quick on the brakes. What can I say? Good stuff. Okay, so we're back dealing with these ministers of this government. So the president's name is Averix, the chancellor who is supposed to be in charge of science is Billis, and the defense secretary is Koba. And you were asking if you could get access to like basic information schematics. They've got a lot of good information in front of them. They basically know where everything is supposed to be in the settlement in terms of like distribution of goods and so forth. This is not in any way a militarized settlement, so they don't really have any sort of standing forces or vehicles that are intended for combat. And you have a lot of science reports on what they know about this nanotechnology, so you're pretty well informed about what to expect with it now.
Awesome.
I mean, to Paragon's mind, like, we don't really need anything else from them right now. Just getting what they said they would give us and, like, going back and doing our thing. Like, looking it over. Like, maybe Hoshin could help look it over and see what... And then, like, strategizing with Verathon about maybe some military tactics against taking on the disassembler. And then just... Kylabri, just being Kylabri.
That's right. Just being Kylabri. Okay, so you guys are planning to head out?
Yeah.
Perfect.
After making, like, is there anything that we can give you or bring you as a measure of good faith?
The fact that you're here at all is fairly impressive. The president says, we really don't need anything. We have basic food supplies. We've been able to keep those up for some time, and we have some more still. That's why there are so few of us who are staying active. And then, no, anything you can do that actually ends the situation will be obviously well appreciated. But there's nothing else that we need here.
When was the last time you checked on these emergency facilities where your people are being held in stasis?
We don't have direct communications. We unfortunately have to assume the stasis process is working, but no one else can be active at the same rate that we are here, because we are the ones who are closest to the actual time shield.
So for all you know, they could all be dust.
Yes, thank you. We do regularly have this conversation amongst ourselves. Yes, we are very concerned about the fact we don't actually know that our work is in any way valid.
Having analyzed the mists outside of your barrier, there are human particulate within the atmosphere.
When
we found that, right?
You did. When this happened to us, you have to understand our civilization was not intended to be militarized. We were not intending to defend ourselves against anything beyond the occasional wild creature. And this was very sudden. The idea that we were attacked by whatever has attacked us, we don't even have an idea of where this weapon was directed at us from. We don't know who our opponent is. And we found ourselves defenseless, effectively, and trying to make do very quickly. Defense Secretary Koba, and she points at Koba, who continues to frown and kind of like sit up in their chair, was originally the Secretary of Transportation. We did not have a defense secretary.
Oh.
The idea of communication between different governments and having a transportation across the surface, it was the only department that ever had to actually deal with violence.
I was going to say, like, they didn't have a military, but they had a defense secretary. That's kind of weird, but yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks a little more. Oh my.
Not sure I have anything else to address in this moment.
Liana just says she's been taking a look at them and she's been like checking their vitals and looking at how they look. We'll be back soon, I hope. Hopefully we can return and see what we can do to help.
Hopefully.
Well, if we can do more out there, let's go.
Yes. Let's continue on and see if there's anything that we can do to figure out exactly what we're dealing with. I have a I have an idea as we're kind of walking out
Okay.
and
And
continuing
you're in
on,
the
going back
elevator,
down.
all that. Yeah.
We need to get closer and see what this projectile is. What if we took the dropship off to it?
Yes.
Bad ideas are bad, but that's okay
Bad
because
ideas
they're
are
exciting.
fun. Bad ideas are
Right.
fun. That's what they.
Sure.
Paragon's all about it. Let's do it. Like, the best way to learn about the thing is to go up to it and find out ourselves.
Okay.
Because
Do
the
we-
last time Ten Lao and Paragon 9 interacted with some strange object, it went so well.
Right.
Hey.
Right.
Why would you learn from your mistakes
Um,
in a game? That's not fun.
No. no.
I got taller, you got an extra eye, like, what's wrong with that?
Is there anything that we can... Leona, do you know of anything within the city that ever had any sort of small protective force besides this time shield scenario? Anything that might aid us in protecting ourselves or the dropship in any small way? Do you know of anything we might be able to pick up? Something I might be able to craft quickly?
Yeah, let's look at the map. There should be an emergency services desk somewhere around here, or like even emergency services building. Maybe they have like, we use barriers sometimes if we had to close off an area because of fire or because of like chemical spill, that sort of thing.
Who had that lightning wall thing?
Yeah, right, a lightning wall thing. Garamedes has it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should be able to find something like that very easily.
Great. I will pull up the impressive device
Right.
map, and the lights kind of just like flicker in the air. And while it might have been whatever color it was previously on like the map, it is not any longer. It's like this kind of like glowing iridescent green,
Very nice.
kind of just floating above us, kind of like projected as a hologram.
Very nice. Okay, and of course, Leona takes a moment and goes, oh, I like the green. And she goes, okay, so we're here. Emergency services right here. So it's very close. We should easily be able to go there.
Wonderful. And as we're going, I kind of just take whatever this device is and it stops glowing. It's not useful any longer, and I just put it back into my pack because I can either deplete an item or use my stat pool. So I use my stat pool and the item is still intact.
Nice. Okay. So with that, Leona leads you down the street. You're going now in the opposite direction from your drop ship, but she leads you down the street just a little ways, and then there's a building over to the left. And this one has the same kind of logo you saw before going to the emergency services building with her. When she gets up to the door, she actually does have to put her hand up to the pad and key an entry. And it goes whoop, and the door opens up. And she goes in, and there is a whole row of medical response materials on one side. There's also a whole wall of like crowd and let's say chemical control type stuff on the other side. And she pulls down a very large, heavy, it looks like one of those suitcases that you have to roll on wheels, down to the ground, and pulls up a handle on it and says, there we go.
Well, that was simple. I didn't have to make anything.
No, we have access to the building. There's still power. It's easy to get to.
Wonderful.
Will we need to somehow fashion it to the canopy? Or will it just automatically barrier off the ship?
I don't know anything about your dropship. I mean, I would usually put this in the middle of a road.
Can I decipher how well that would work on the dropship itself and what that would look like, and if we need to alter it or combine them in any way?
You're going to have to definitely...
Get like, what, 6 to make walls all around on each side.
Well, so she looks and she says, I've just got the one. There's only one of these at any given installation like this. Do you have that?
That's fine.
Do we want to look for
we'll
another
make
one?
do with that.
Okay.
Let's make do with the one we have for now. I'll see if I can fashion it to the canopy in some way that we might be able to utilize it in a way that was different than what it would happen on the ground.
Right.
What? I'm trying to find. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What does it normally look like on the ground? Like, what would it do?
So typically, you can see there's like an info sheet here, and Liana's translating it for you. But it's supposed to, like, you push a button, and it's going to spread out to both sides and climb up and cover about 15 feet vertically. So it's basically like a big energy barrier.
Okay. Okay. I would like to see if I can spend a little bit of time to install it in the front of the dropship so that instead of it just being a flat wall, it can be angled and curved just slightly like a windshield.
Yep. It's something you can definitely do, so we're just going to have to figure out what our roles are for this, right?
Sure.
Do you want to go ahead and roll for the initial cipher level here? It's a d6 plus 2.
Okay, I can do that. I can never remember how to add things, so we'll just roll D.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so D6 plus 2, so 5.
Level 5. So they potentially go up to level 7, so this one has a little bit of battery depletion, but it's still in pretty good shape. Like, maybe this is like a second or third use. This one actually saw some use in the box, so yeah.
Awesome. And then what kind of level are we looking at for trying to make this essentially a energy windshield on the dropship?
So let's see what you have to actually do. So you're a right, and you're trying to just make this effectively work the way you want it to here, right?
Yes. I am trained in crafting, Numenera, and engineering. And I don't think I don't have any sort of abilities about altering anything. It's about a lot of creating from the ground up, and kind of like finding solutions in the moment, but I don't think I have anything elsewise.
You know who might? We might have something in the delve for making something go together with something else.
Oh. I have a lot of things for making something go on me.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm trying to do. It's a little different than biological grafting.
Yeah, I don't think there's a delve ability right here. So, okay, so what we're looking at is this is a level 5 device. If you want to make a pretty simple roll here to like get this to attach to the craft, I think we could do that. Or if you want to spend an experience point, I could say you do it automatically. What's your preference here?
I'll spend the XP.
Okay. So basically for you, it's just a matter of applying the time to make it work this way. It's a pretty configurable wall, and the dropship is an easily modded device. So between the two, you really just need to take about an hour just to attach everything.
Okay. Awesome.
So Paracon, do you want to do anything with that hour? Is there anything you're going to be handling task-wise?
If there's any way I can assist, I would. If not, then I would just be on guard.
Okay.
Watching perimeter.
So you kind of get a little bit of each, and you know how the dropship works, you know, in terms of like you're used to the piloting. So maybe you're really just like double checking what to expect from deploying this device. And it's going to really reduce your stopping radius. Like this thing is going to put a wall that's about 15 feet out in front of the dropship. So if you do activate this, you should expect that you're going to have to be a little bit more careful about stopping because you're going to hit things hard.
Or do we want to hit things hard?
That's really up to you, right? But either way, you've got to be prepared for that as being one of the navigational tasks you've got underway, piloting tasks.
Yeah.
So, good fun to look forward to. Okay, so you've got the dropship, the lightning wall is ready to be deployed, and everything is going good.
Well, let's see if we can't make our way up there. Are you going to pilot us up, Paragon?
Paragon's like already in the pilot's seat, like getting ready.
Already plugged in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, huh? Yeah. I mean, were we not already ready?
So, Tenlau, Liana looks to you and says, do you want to sit in the front, or do you want me to sit in the front? I want to be close by you two in case anything happens.
Why don't you sit in the front and I will take the row back?
Okay. I can't do anything with the ship, but if we have an emergency, I want to be close by in case you need, medical response.
That sounds like a good plan. Putting you kind of between us then.
Okay, yeah.
Front to back.
Perfect. So she clips in. She's kind of anxious bouncing at this point. So, you taking it up?
Yup.
Okay, so here's how this works. The shield rises in a dome shape, and you are effectively near the center of the dome. So the impact point where all of this energy is streaming down and the kinetic force of this impact is directly centered over you. So it's up to you how close you want to stay to that crucial point. There will be more difficulty being near the center, and it will be easier as you go around and away and back up.
I think going around in or like the long circumnavigating that difficult terrain, cause would there be any benefit just going the most direct route? Cause I don't think we're under a time crunch, really, and I don't think it seems like a lot of risk, and I'm not sure what the reward is to just go straight.
Yeah, I agree. We're not. I mean, we're on as much of a time crunch as we have been recently, so kind of going out and back around a little bit, I think, would be a better option for us rather than trying to go through whatever danger of that impact point might contain.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm going to come up with a second page here, just real quick, and this will be like our doodle page for what we're doing with this. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the kind of what's the term I'm looking for? I don't think I'm going to be able to get the kind of, well, first off, I can't draw. But second off, I don't think I'm going to be able to get the kind of perspective we really want. But I just want to make sure we're clear on what we're talking about here.
Okay.
So do look forward to some excellent bad doodling. But this is our bad stuff and our city, and I think the two make sense one against the other. So let me pull you guys over to this page. Okay, so your display should refresh. And you should see yourselves now looking at something that looks roughly like a chicken pecking an egg that has a city in it.
Yes.
The chicken chocobo. This is our alien interface.
This is very good.
Yeah, and this is our city that you guys are at now. So I think that gives us what we want. So the way I'm describing this right now, I expect that you said you want to fly up and around and end up somewhere up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I could do too is I have multiple colors apparently. So we could say we're going to do one of these. That seems like generally what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I had in mind.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, there's a point in having Roll20 after all. So we've got that. We know what you guys are looking for. And with this kind of trip, you're not really even going to have to make a piloting roll. Just you're constantly feeling turbulence. And you can see that the force that's directed down, it's like there's waves of, well, you were originally thinking it's mist, but it can't be mist. This has got to be more of those machines that kind of form a cloud that comes up and around. It's more or less contained against this shield, but it's really feeling iffy to you because you can feel like the pushing. This force is definitely pushing on your ship.
Can we go back a little bit and say, I just want to, we have communicators.
Yeah.
That we can communicate over a long distance. Was that just between the party? Or was that between the party and the settlement?
You can definitely communicate with the settlement.
Paragon would sort of reach out to the settlement and give them a heads up as to what they're doing. They're going to be approaching the what they refer to as the comet.
Yeah, not and specifically not interacting with, but getting a closer look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
The person you
just
get
in case they want to have the guy on the turret keep an eye out for. If any squid things come up.
Yeah, the person you get on the comms is Verathon, and they say, all right, if you're going to take a closer look at it, be careful. I have notified the turret to stand down just to maintain their original orders.
Can't pay to kitchen out.
There you go. Okay, so what are you going to do now with the dropship? Because you are effectively in orbit around, you can see what you have is a central hard nucleus or let's say it's like an egg. We're going to keep an egg analogy. This ship that's coming down, or this thing, is like a hardened metal structure. But there are waves of these nanites streaming off of it into the distance.
Ooh.
Is it is the surface a smooth structure? Is it like, does it have like crevices and like ins and outs? Does it like compared to like, I don't know, to use reference, like the Death Star, like far away, it looks smooth, but once you get closer, like you can see there's like trenches and like grooves.
It stayed pretty smooth when you got closer.
Okay. Like we don't see any seams or anything like that.
Right. It actually seems very uniform all across the surface.
The clouds of nanites, do they seem to be reacting to our presence?
Not right now. You're feeling a lot of that temporal distortion, so it's very possible this is all trapped and contained in the temporal shield. But
Okay.
yeah.
Here's a well, you know what? I'm gonna kind of like look to Paragon 9 and to Lano said, I'm going to try something. If I fall over dead from mental strain, then be aware. I have a device implanted that will allow me to telepathically communicate with a creature. I'm going to see if this is not a structure, but a being.
You will be fondly remembered.
And Liana says,
So-
no, I'm right here. I'm going to keep a good eye on you. Don't worry.
Wonderful. So I'm going to try and use the telepathy implant because it says targets one creature within close range. I want to see if I can communicate with this thing. Is this a thing, like a creature, or is this just some sort of like vehicle?
Okay. So what is the level of this telepathy implant?
It is a level 4.
Okay. So you activate it. You reach out. First off, when you reach out, you're kind of reaching through this cloud of nanites, and it sounds like you're going through a chorus of whispers where all of the communications are binaries, effectively, right? It's just like yes, no's, but constantly just shh. This white noise, susurrating sound as you get closer and closer to yes. There is a central unit, intelligent presence here in this oval sphere, egg, whatever it is. The scale of the mind is enormous because it seems to be a distributed technology that maybe it's one thing, maybe it's a lot of things, maybe it's you're not really even clear on this because you just sense the presence, and that presence senses you now.
Yeah. So I telepathically reach out. Who or what are you?
And you just get, in that very deep, booming tone, we are.
Just are.
Are.
Awesome. What is your purpose or goal here?
That's a good question. What is their purpose or goal here? Really, it comes down to disassembly.
So the answer is just disassembling?
Disassembly.
Okay. Where have you come from?
You get a mental flash of another place. It's still, you think this is terrestrial, you think this is on the same world, but there's an image of a capsule being released and shot far into the heavens, and then coming down and gradually gaining force and deploying and coming awake and opening and spreading out, and then just kind of being frozen in that moment.
Who has sent you?
I am going to come up with a name off the top of my head. This civilization is going to be known as... They will be known as the Velocians. So you have now made contact with Velocia. That's my A game for coming up with names off the top of my head. Okay, so
That's good, I love it.
There's another civilization somewhere out there 1,000 years ago that was called Velocia. And apparently they can deploy gigantic artificial intelligences to destroy people.
Awesome. Were you sent here specifically?
We were.
May I... hold on. Can your directive be changed?
We will not change our purpose.
Can we change your target?
There is now some interaction here. You get the feeling that where things have been somewhat passive and like you're asking a lot of questions like you're at a panel, at this point now, there is more information coming back at you, and I think you're going to need to make an intellect defense task if you don't want this thing reading your mind.
No. I want this. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay. So, level?
This is a big old thing. It is a level 6.
Ooh. Oh, boy. Okay. Awesome. Definitely gonna spend the 2 levels of effort there.
Okay, and do you have the intellect defense skill?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't think. Let me double check on that, maybe, but I don't think I do, unless it came with...
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see anything on your character sheet that indicates you would.
Yeah. Okay. So... Whew, alright.
Good luck.
Yeah, here we go. Where's the thing? There's the thing.
Oh, look at you! Kicking its butt!
Dang!
That's how you do it!
Alright.
Well, it almost read your mind.
Man. So this is with the amount of effort that I'm spending to do this, like everyone else kind of around me sees Tenlau's face like just kind of like contort. They've been staring intently at this structure, and their face kind of contorts, and like a little bit of blood comes out of their nose, just kind of like very carefully focusing on this. But it's clear that there's a lot of like mental strain happening at the moment, and that's just me saying like my pool is becoming very quickly depleted. But I maintain my mental fortitude.
Yep. And we're going to have a background thing that goes on, but let's continue your scene as we go on.
So I'm sorry, you're doing something with the other two then?
Yeah, do you want me to do it now, or do you want to just wait and do your thing? Because it's fine to wait. It doesn't affect anything.
Oh, you can do it now. That's fine. I don't mind waiting.
So, Paragon 9, you've been pointing at the... You're like directing the ship and being focused on your thing, and after a second you realize that Liana is hitting you on the arm. It's your metal arm, so maybe you weren't paying attention. Give me the rejuvenator.
Yeah.
I know you've got it. Hand it to me.
Wait, do I have the rejuvenator?
That thing that Tenlau built. Hand it to me.
I think Tenlau has it.
Okay, and then she goes through Tenlau's pockets and...
Yeah, Tenlau has it in the instant item.
Right. So she like hits that and it activates and pulls it out, and you get 3 of your intellect points back as she activates the thing on you. So you're feeling a little bit better with that. She says, that's not good, and she's like mopping at your nose with the tissue and so forth at this point.
It's fine. She has thick blood.
Awesome.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I because you can choose like, or I assuming since I created, you can kind of choose the form of it. So I had it was a patch that is activated by being slapped. So I just imagine her slapping this like onto Tenlau's arm or something like that.
Yep. You're okay with it being used, right? You don't object to having...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay, cool, cool.
I will take care of those being depleted off my sheet.
Cool. So with that, that's my interaction on the side. So you have resisted. It feels like you had 100 buzzing bees trying to like make their buzzing bee sounds in your ears, but internally to your skull. So all of this was going on, but it's not your first time dealing with a machine intellect that tries to be a little bit bossy. So you're okay.
Awesome.
Life goals.
Yeah, really, right?
Yeah.
Where is your civilization? We can redirect.
Oh!
Your technology is superior. We will redirect.
Oh no. Oh god. So it is. I do not wish for you to disassemble my civilization, but it is technology you seek.
We seek the end of carbon life and the increase of machine life. We have directions to disassemble. Yeah, we sent the wrong heroes for this job.
Yeah, no kidding. What the heck?
Hey man, I'm down with the singularity. Come on.
Yeah.
Who?
Like from context, can Tin Lao tell? Is this a singularity thing where like life will become a machine, or is it just like nah, life is bullshit?
Without going too meta on you, they are just here to destroy the civilization. This is just a bomb with, some ideas.
Okay.
A bomb with ideas.
Yeah. Also, who had the idea to wait and give a machine 1,000 years to process on what it wants to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Shoot.
Man, like they're just sitting in that room doing nothing for 1,000 years, like just sitting on their hands. They're not even like thinking about the problem. Just...
Also, imagine being a government bureaucrat and then being told you can end a world problem and all you have to do is sit around and do nothing afterwards. I mean, it's unfortunately that's kind of a trap, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I get the sense as to what is the disassembling nanobot storm projectile thing also stuck in time, or is it just trying to push through the time barrier that they've created?
You've done enough interacting with this that you can tell there is like a tension here. They want to push through this time barrier, but they are also stuck in the field. So the good news is this mechanical device, it's stop time, it is degrading and the field is shrinking, but it's shrinking because of the active interaction between this bomb and this civilization.
Got it. Okay. So the telepathic link lasts for 1 hour per cipher level, so I have 4 hours of communication connection with this. So I'm going to unconcentrate for a moment and kind of pass this information verbally out loud out to the other two without having to repeat all of that.
And when you start talking, Liana is like pulling this patch off of your face and says like, I'm really sorry I used that, but you look like you were having a hard time.
Oh, that's things. No, that's okay. Thank you. That's greatly appreciated.
Okay.
But they want to. They were sent to destroy. It doesn't have to be this civilization specifically, but they cannot change their directive. But if we give them a technologically sufficient target, they will be literally willing to change their target.
Do you communicate the whole like, we wish to destroy carbon life or the end of carbon life?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, then Paragon will say like, that seems that once they take down one settlement, that they will simply move on to the next. If their goal is to end carbon life, like that is saving one at the cost of another, just delaying. It's not really.
Agreed. So, the question is, how do we destroy them?
Even if we being cold-hearted as Paragon is, if we let them have Arca, then they would just move on to the next nearest settlement, which is us.
Hey guys, I have a fun thing I need to interject at this point, where you each gain an experience point.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So first off, I need to have Paragon 9 make a piloting test with a difficulty of 4.
Okay. 4?
4. Yeah, you do have experience points, so you can re-roll it if you want.
Yeah. I'll finally cave into reroll.
I mean, you are all in this ship together, and, you know...
Yeah. And I think that's where the line is. It's like, is it affecting me? Cool. I'll just let something fun happen to me. But with other people, I totally get it.
And plus, it's like it's more interesting to keep interacting with this thing. And like if we stop flying near it, I'm guessing we won't be able to interact with it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Nice. So, Tenlai, you've just found out your turret works very well, and it has excellent targeting capabilities, but
Oh no.
the turret shoots a projectile at the comet, hitting it directly, and the concussive force that kind of blows a cloud of nanites out into the distance also hits your dropship. And if not for the fact that Paragon 9 is fairly present and plugged in, you would have spun and spiraled and probably collided with this comet. But instead, you have maintained control and restabilized, and you're back where you were before.
I'm so glad I said that before. I'm so glad I put that idea out there.
Yep.
Yeah. So recovering from that impact, what do we see happening with the projectile meteorite thing?
Well, there is a cloud of nanites that are raining down and like cascading across this time shield, and they're probably getting neutralized, but you're not going to be able to tell that visually at this point. Additionally, you see the turret beginning to recalibrate and fire again in the distance.
Paragon, like as soon as he has to make like evasive maneuvers, he like reaches back out to the colony and says, hold fire.
So you're just generally blasting at the community.
Yep.
You get Verathon on the comms again. He says, we've got a situation here. Just maintain your flight pattern. We're resolving. And in the distance you hear,
Oh no!
Oh, this is awesome.
and it's only one experience
Terrible
point for
and
me,
awesome.
alright? So
Oh god. Okay.
Quick question: the turret, does it have a 360 sort of view? Like, can it turn all the way around and like defend the settlement inside, or is it just like does it have a limited?
I don't think it's said specifically. Let me see if I can find that out. I have it still up here. I just have to find the right window.
Because that kind of like gives an idea of like why they're attacking the comet. Like if
Yeah.
there's something happening inside the settlement.
Let's see. Turret. It does not. It says rotates slowly on a base. So I'm assuming it can get 360 degrees.
sounds good to me, yeah. Let's do that.
So we all have that communication device.
You do,
right?
yep.
Okay. Can you give us any more specifics on the situation?
Verathon says, look, my attention is elsewhere right now. I'm securing the situation.
Awesome.
And again, you heard it.
We are in communication with the comet. Perhaps we could diffuse the situation on our end.
Paragon 9, Tenlau, clear this line. We're using this for interbase communication. Fire Team 3, move out. And again, just...
Okay, fine.
And at about that time, it's been around, and the turret fires again.
Oh, dear.
And you hear this boom, and you know it's coming. I'm imagining you didn't stay in a direct fire line at this point. But it's hitting the front of the comet. You see another burst to go off. Something you're learning about this is it is not a solid structure because it seems to be ablating every time it gets hit. You see this cloud of nanites fly off of it into a big poof, and then the surface kind of smooths back slowly.
Oh, good.
Yeah, also, hey, if it's moving that fast, how well is it being stuck in time?
Maybe it's...
Anyways, so here's some things to think about that are happening right now.
Oof. All right.
Do you believe it is a good idea to reestablish contact with the entity,
I mean,
considering the hostile circumstances?
Guys, I've got to throw one more at you for our close here. This is going to be bad and
Okay.
cliffhangery.
okay,
Oh, that's great. That's the best.
please.
This one is specifically to Paragon 9, but you only have one other player you can share it with.
Yeah.
The comms cut in again as you're discussing how to, like, deal with this.
Oh, fuck.
It is Kai Labrie. Voice only. Paragon 9. Remember now what we spoke of originally.
Ooh. Ooh. Fucking Order 66 shit.
Paragon 9. You must destroy the time shield.
I fucking do it. I fucking do it. I love this. Oh, man.
And it seems like that is probably the right place to end for next time, right?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
We
absolutely.
gotta just stop there, because the next time is the finale. We're gonna come back in 2 weeks on Sunday and do our final thing, where everything has to blow up.
Was that a private line?
Was that a private line? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey Bonnie, thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate that. So we talked about this.
Thanks, Bonnie.
We want to have a contained story so that we know we got everything out. Next week is Easter, and I personally have to go hide eggs and have children find them. I don't know about everybody else. But then the following week on the 28th, we're going to do a capper where we have to find out what exactly is going on with this crazy story and why Paragon 9 has been intruded against and all of that. And it's probably going to be cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So,
Very, very fun.
general recap, there is armed mutiny at the settlement. The time shield could be destroyed, which may or may not doom everybody in the city. The comet is a giant sentient cloud of nanites that is attempting to destroy carbon life. And Paragon 9 and Kai Labrie have a thing.
A thing.
A thing.
Of some sort.
There's a thing.
Yes.
Now I'm convinced, like, ever since nanites came up, I'm like, the silent chorus are like robot nanites, and like they're part of this comet thing. And like the 35 that disappeared probably went into the mist and joined like all this shit. I'm just like, wow, I don't know. That theory's coming stronger. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty close to the notes on my page, so we'll all have fun with
Oh,
that.
it's so good. So good.
Whew.
So, yep. You know, when we first came up with this, I was like, hey, here's a form. Vote for who you want to have join the colony. I was originally thinking people are going to pick the safe choices where they will get resources out of them. And it's like, nope, everybody chose the bad stuff that has drama. And I'm like, wow, I actually shouldn't be surprised by that. But there was a moment where, like, you know, my old school D&D self was like, how come you guys didn't optimize your choices? And then I was like, oh, well, never mind. What am I thinking?
We optimized the narrative.
Yeah,
That's what we
you optimized
Yeah.
having a good time from drama. That's a good choice. Oh, it's fun playing with you guys.
It's fun running under you. This is awesome.
You guys,
Yeah, dude, this
always
is so
fun.
good. This is so good.
So we'll come back. We'll finish this up in 2 weeks. If anybody joins us, we'll have more people. If they don't, you guys, you know, you'll be fine. I mean, everything's going fine.
Sure. Yeah. It's great. Everything's fine here. How about you?
Yep, good stuff.
Nothing to report. No. So it is mutiny at the colony.
Well, I mean, I just heard armed gunfire sounds. I mean, I don't know that it's
Okay.
really a mutiny. That might not be fair. I mean, people are fine. Everything's fine.
Everything.
I was gonna joke like the 35 silent chorus are back, and like they just came back with guns, and just like, but and then that message came in like, okay,
Either
It's
that or
as much as
or-
a joke.
Either that or maybe the Lattimore have come back for some reason. Or
Oh yeah.
maybe the Tetrahydras are back in force because we blew them up.
You know, the thing that is
Before
great...
the thing,
Oh, go ahead.
before the thing said like we want to destroy all carbon life, I was gonna say like we could just point at the Lattimores, I guess.
Ouch. That's why I got rid of the Lattimores, just because of you
Hey.
doing that. That's terrible. Poor Lattimores.
Hey, it's between us and like our settlement, the settlement we can get something from, and like the Lattimores who like are like they're cute, but like come on.
They're cute.
Well, they are cute. You have to give them that. So, yeah, good choices all around. We got nothing but good stuff going on for this game. Always fun playing with you
Very,
guys.
very good.
Yeah. And then, who knows what we'll do in upcoming months, May and June and so forth. I'm sure get crazy for everybody, but I wouldn't mind doing some one-shots and trying to do like some Lancer. And then Kevin has seen this at least, but I am like actively pretty interested in coming up with like an Asian D&D setting. Like right now it's like fairly Japanese focused because I've been reading The Shadow of the Fox, and that's really good. Mm-hmm. It's got all the like bits I want from Legend of the Five Rings I don't get. So yeah, good stuff.
Very cool. That's awesome.
So let's end here so that we can eventually wrap up. But it's always good playing with you guys, and thank you for coming out and helping me destroy the world.
Thank you for writing
Absolutely.
and building the world for us to destroy.
Yeah, so we are going to go ahead and end our Twitch stream here, and then we'll do other button clicking in a second. Okay, here we go. We're going to say bye, guys.
See ya.